What's going on, everybody? You see a Jaguar back with GenJag.com, and we did it, guys. We beat the Buffalo Bills 10-3, winning the wild card round of the playoffs and moving on to the AFC Divisional round. Essentially one win away from the AFC Championship game. And it was a hard-fought win. It wasn't necessarily the most fun game to watch if you're the common fan out there, but it was a true defensive battle. And in the playoffs, there may be ugly games, but there's no such thing as an ugly win. All you have to do is find a way to win in advance, and we did that. So let's go ahead and talk about this game a little bit.
It's a foot race. Robinson and Browner, and it's Robinson who wins it. Touchdown, Jacksonville. His 14th win. Bortles with top, looking deep for Robinson.
First of all, there is no doubting that our defense won this game for us. They were dominant, holding the Bills to only 3 points, getting 2 interceptions, all kinds of, sacks and tackles for loss, and they were just holding it down, and they really were the reason why we were able to win this game. I mean, on that goal line stand where they essentially had the ball to 1st and 1 on the 1 yard line before Jalen Ramsey basically forces a pass interference against Kelvin Benjamin, moving them back to the 11 yard line and stopping them there. You saw Calais Campbell make a crucial touchdown-saving ankle tackle on Tyrod Taylor. And if you were to nitpick at all, one thing that they did not necessarily do super well was holding them on 3rd downs. In the first half, they were able to get a lot of 3rd down conversions on us. And a lot of times early, we had them kind of held back on a good spot. We weren't necessarily able to 3-and-out them, forcing the Jaguars offense to have good field position. But overall, it's a great game by the defense. I thought Tyler Patman did a really good job stepping in there for Aaron Colvin. Blair Brown stepping in there for Paul Posluszny. It's not very often where a defensive player gets injured on our team, and I thought those two guys filled in nicely. However, when you look at the offensive side of the ball, it was not very good. And we'll start off and talk about Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles, I thought that first half played the worst half of the 2017 season. He was horrible. He was just missing all kinds of just easy routine throws. I can think of 2 plays in a row where it was essentially, an out route, and it fell incomplete to, I think the first time was Fournette, and the second time it was Bohannon. And those balls would have gone for most likely first downs, and he just wasn't good at all. His mechanics were awful, his footwork was really bad, and it really stunk because it really seemed like this is going to be a game where Blake can prove himself to potentially be the starting quarterback going into next year. I still think his job is definitely up in the air, and you would have thought maybe he could come in there and just really light up the place and do really well, but unfortunately he didn't do any of that. And the first half, it was just really bad on offense. And unfortunately, when you look at other players, the run game was not really going at all. Leonard Fournette did not have a very good game, did not have very many explosive runs, and believe it or not, Blake Bortles actually outrushed Leonard Fournette that game, and we weren't getting much going on offense. So, I know a lot of it is because, we're having packed boxes up in there. Then, when Bortles isn't playing very well, it just makes it that much easier to run the ball. But, at the same time, there were a lot of offensive linemen that just weren't winning one-on-one battles and that were getting kind of pushed around. And, we have to start getting this offensive line and run blocking better if we want to move on anywhere past, this first round. Now the second half, what was the real game changer in the game was Blake Bortles really started to use his feet. And it was really the only thing that we could really get going on offense. And Bortles would rush for 89 yards, a career high for him. And just using his feet was, and it wasn't like he was running and just kind of getting really open and sliding. He was actually putting his shoulder down, bowling through traffic, and really getting down at that first down marker. I wasn't a huge fan of really running Bortles a lot during the regular season, but this is the playoffs. You're one from being eliminated, so you had to do everything in your ability to be able to get this win, and if it has to be run Bortles or do whatever with him, that's what you have to do. Now, one thing that was kind of intriguing to me was our offensive game plan. our game plan was extremely conservative. I mean, we were like, trying to run the ball a lot, throwing a lot of like screens that really weren't doing anything, a lot of like short out routes, and we just really weren't pushing the ball downfield much at all. Now, the thing with the Bills is they do have, statistically, they have a worse rush defense, and their pass defense, I mean, they have a lot of really good cover guys. They have White, the dude out of LSU, the rookie, and they have, EJ Gaines, Poyer, and they have some guys out there that can really cover well, and this has been a nice game to really get that run game going. But you wonder with this game plan, did it seem like they had this game plan together because they didn't trust Bortles? And that's one thing really telling going into next year. But also you wonder if they saw this as a game where they said, hey, as long as we can get about 10 points on the board, 7-10, if we can get some kind of 7-point lead on the Bills, can we just let our defense win this game as long as we don't turn the ball over? As bad as our offense did play, one thing it did really well is we did not turn the ball over. And, that basically helped the defense put, the opposing offense in favorable territory where, they weren't able to have a bunch of room to be able to get into scoring position. Now in this game, that last drive of the first half to be able to end off in a march down the field and get a field goal, that was really good. And we had one amazing drive that game where, Bortles went like 3 for 3. He had some like rushing yards. We were able to get it like basically a 9-minute drive from like the 15-yard line all the way over and score a touchdown. I mean, that was tremendous because first of all, you score a touchdown. You get up 7 points. That's the obvious, but you also give this defense some time to rest, and they definitely needed that in the fourth quarter, and it essentially almost gets like the opposing offense kind of off in a rhythm, while the defense hangs in there and like rests a little bit. So that was really good to take some time out the clock because they basically got it. I think they scored with like 1 minute left in the third quarter, so they had 1 quarter left to be able to muster up a touchdown, and the Bills were not able to do that. Now, scoring 10 points may allow you to beat a team like the Bills who don't have an explosive offense at all, and their most electrifying player on their offense, a player who accounts for 33% of their offense, LaShawn McCoy, is playing about 75% of himself. So against the Steelers, looking ahead a little bit, I think that game we are going to need to score at least 17 to 20 points to be able to have a shot at winning that game, just because they are going to put us some points, the Steelers. They have all kinds of weapons on offense. I mean, they have the best wide receiver in the NFL, Antonio Brown. They have Juju Smith-Schuster, and last time we played the Steelers, Juju had not emerged at all. You know what I mean? He was still like, what was it, week 4, week 5 when we played the Steelers. Like, Juju Smith-Schuster had not emerged yet, so he's a lot better of the player than he was then. You also have Wheaton on the another receiver. Le'Veon Bell, electrifying running back. So they have a lot more firepower on their offense than the Bills do. So our offense is going to have to get something going this next game if they want to have any shot at beating Pittsburgh. I do think this next game against the Steelers, we do go out and be a little more aggressive to start out the game, just because I think if you can get an early, a 3 or 7 point lead against the Steelers and try to put the game really in the defensive hands, that's the way you're going to win in these playoffs. You know what I mean? When you have an offense like us and a defense as good as it is, I trust the defense so much when it's on the field, and I always feel like we're like we're always about to have like an explosive play, and it's just really fun to watch. And I don't care what anybody says, we have the best defense in the NFL. Now, it's interesting with Blake on how you want to try to form a game plan to him, because we all know Bortles is a rhythm thrower. He does a lot better when he's able to kind of string a couple passes together and, get himself on some kind of a rhythm. But the thing is, to get him on a rhythm, you have to actually get him to throw the ball, and you have to trust him to throw the ball. It's all good when you're playing a team like Houston, where it's just a weak team, it's not the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's easier to go out there and really try to, open up the playbook for him and throw the ball. But, how are you going to do it against the Steelers? Now, I do think we need to throw early, just because like an interception in the first quarter will give you some time to recover. But if you go conservative and run the ball a lot and do a lot of dumb screens in the first quarter of the game, and next thing you know, it bleeds on over in the second quarter, and all of a sudden you're at the end of the second quarter and you're down 7-0, or you're down 10-0, and you don't, all of a sudden the second half you're saying, okay, we're down a lot. Now we need to really start throwing the ball. I'd rather throw early, see if you can get some success then, see if you can get some kind of a lead to be able to make the defense hold on to it, and then from there, see if you can, get some run going or something like that. That's just what I feel like we need to do going forward. I also think we need to involve Corey Grant a lot more, just because I think Corey Grant can be a secret weapon for us in these playoffs. I haven't been a big Corey Grant fan really all season of giving him that much playing time, just because, he is kind of a liability in pass protection, and he's just like kind of a small dude. It seems like whenever he gets the ball, he's so close to breaking away, and he's just so quick. He hits holes so quick, I like that little kind of pitch play almost that we did to Leonard Fournette, where we kind of, shoveled it to him and he had a lot of room to run. Man, I think we would put some Corey Grant kind of stuff on that. He can do some amazing things, just because the drop off from Fournette to Ivory or Fournette to Yeldon is just huge, and I just think we have a secret weapon on our, offense that I would love to be able to see us utilize. Now, another definitely is a lot to worry about with our team, going forward into the playoffs. Like, is our offense good enough? Yada, yada, yada. But, let's just live for the moment, guys. I mean, we went 10-6 in the regular season. We are 1-0 in the playoffs right now, and we are one of 8 teams left in the NFL that still have games coming up. You know what I mean? Like, just having this extra win just gives us another week of anticipation for the next game. I already can't wait for the Steelers game, but I'm just gonna sit back and just enjoy another week before we play, just because football is gonna, you never know, man. This Sunday it could be over like that, then we're watching everybody else play. But just live for the moment. We beat the Bills, even though it was ugly. There were 4 teams out. There were 4 other teams out there in the playoffs last week that would have taken an ugly win over what they went through. So it was, it was just a really exciting to be at the game. I mean, it was so packed. Like, all the white towels are waving around. Like, that is by far the most electric I've ever seen in Everbank Field. I mean, last time we played there, I was like 5 years old. I didn't know what the heck was going on then. And then now to experience that, to all the other people my age or like younger and stuff like that, it was just something that awesome for us to be a part of, just because we didn't really get to experience much of the early success that the Jaguars had back in the day. But, we're one of 8 teams left, and it's just surreal that the Jaguars are doing this year. Well, that about wraps up my video. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to say that I didn't mention, but whatever. And, the Jaguars, this Sunday, they play in the divisional round of the playoffs against the Pittsburgh Steelers at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The Jaguars are the only team to ever beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh twice in a season. We are 5-1 against Ben Roethlisberger in Heinz Field. So, what I mean? We're just one of those teams that's able to really aggravate the Steelers. And, we play really well at the Steelers, no matter how bad our team is. So, as much as this game is looking against us, anything can happen in the playoffs, man. It's really looking forward to this game, and I just have so much optimism for our defense. Like, I think our defense can take us so far. So, what I mean? Remain optimistic. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be picking against the Jaguars this week, but, we'll show them who we are on Sunday. So, I'm UC at Jaguar. Thank you guys all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time. It wasn't much